Senator Bernie Sanders off the campaign trail after having to have two stents put into, or I guess inserted into his heart in order to address a blockage in his artery. What does it mean for his campaign moving forward? Hey everybody, I'm Chad Hasty, host of the Chad Hasty Show, which airs weekday mornings 8:30 to 11 a.m. Central Time on News Talk 95.1 FM and 790 a.m. KFYO. So Senator Bernie Sanders, who's been polling about third place in all the national polls among Democrats, was, I guess, experiencing some chest pains on Tuesday night, went to the hospital. Doctors ran some tests, found out that he had a clogged artery and that he needed two stents inserted. Apparently, he's in good spirits. He's happy. He's sending out, or people are sending down on his behalf, tweets about Medicare for all that kind of good stuff. But he's also canceling all of his events for the foreseeable future. And this, particularly a larger issue, he's pulling his advertising in Iowa. So what does this mean? Listen, we first send out, our thoughts and prayers to Senator Bernie Sanders, even though we don't agree with Bernie Sanders politically. You still hate to see somebody go through this type of stuff. Bernie Sanders, people know him as a guy who is hyper. He gets excited on the campaign trail. He's not dull like Joe Biden is. He seems to have a lot of energy, a lot of enthusiasm out there. He seems to be a guy who likes to have a lot of fun on the campaign trail. But he's also, 78 years old. If he was actually to win the presidency, I think he'd be nearly 80 years old before too long. So, a lot of people had questions about his age. Is he too old to be president of the United States? The people who think that way may have liked Bernie Sanders and may have kind of stayed on the Bernie side, but right now they might be thinking about going in the direction of an Elizabeth Warren or even a Joe Biden, but most likely Elizabeth Warren. I do think this has political ramifications for Bernie Sanders. I think, besides the health ramifications for Bernie Sanders, you want to remain as healthy as possible, and you don't want to be in a stressful situation while having to undergo heart surgery. I mean, that's a horrible thing to have to deal with. I think for Bernie Sanders, I don't know if his campaign is going to be completely shut down moving forward. I think he's going to stick in it for the time being. But I think his campaign's pretty much over. I think that this now becomes mainly a two-person race, unless something else happens and Kamala decides to start polling better. I think this is a race between Elizabeth Warren and former Vice President Joe Biden. As I have said in previous videos, I think that Elizabeth Warren already had the momentum, and I do still think that she'll get the nomination over Joe Biden. I think for Bernie Sanders, Bernie has kind of stayed steady. He's kind of stayed steady. The people who love Bernie, who have felt the burn, have been feeling the burn for the last few years. They've been with Bernie. Bernie's not picking up any additional voters. And with this health scare that he has had, he's not going to pick up any additional voters, in my opinion. People are going to question whether or not he's healthy enough to be president of the United States. People are going to question whether or not he has what it takes to get through the grueling process and to get through the grueling process of being president of the United States. It takes its toll on people. I mean, just look at how presidents age from when they're sworn in to when they leave office. I mean, it's an extremely stressful situation. And if I was Joe Biden, I think I'd want to bail out anyway. Spend some time with family and friends. And, not that I'm saying Bernie only has a little bit of time left, but why put yourself through that stress if you're Bernie Sanders? You've got, 2-3 homes. You've got some mansions out there. Go and enjoy life. Again, I don't think Bernie's going to wrap it up anytime soon. I just think you'll see him scale back his events. I think eventually what you'll probably see is Bernie Sanders get to the point where he's just trying to get his message out there and maybe have a little bit of influence on what Elizabeth Warren is saying, but it would not surprise me if before too long we see Bernie Sanders endorse Elizabeth Warren in this race, and particularly if he has another health scare moving forward, which we hope he does not have. Tune in to the Chad Hasty Show weekday mornings, 8:30 to 11 a.m. Central Time on News Talk 95.1 FM and 790 AM KFYO.